ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we got myself, Warhound. You got Dale, or I don't know why I used my handle name. I should just say Mike. I don't know why I did that. But you got Dale, you got Justin, you got Gavin. The actual whole crew is here for once in a while. Holy shit! Once in a blue moon has officially struck. The world is ending. And we need to talk about. Well, we need to talk about that, and we need to talk about the Fed, and we need to talk about just financial stuff in general, because holy Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know about you guys, but the past 2 weeks have given me heart palpitations. I'm probably going to be disqualified from signing up for the Secret Service, which, oh, by the way, I do need to sit down and do that, but I am going to put together a resume and submit an application to the Secret Service just for shits and gigs. I am, in fact, going to do it.
Nice.
Oh boy.
Hey, you know what? The meme is good, and if all of a sudden I get a call like, hey, are you good to set up an interview for the Secret Service? And I'm like, wait, what?
Right.
If I actually get that call, it's gonna be fucking great.
Yeah. Have you
That
ever,
would be really funny.
It'd be hilarious.
Did you ever consider signing up for ICE as well? Get to go
I have
around
been
deporting?
tempted.
Yeah, get to go
I
around
have been
deporting
tempted.
illegals?
I have been
That would be
tempted.
more for the
I've
meme
also
than
been
anything.
tempted to go into Border Patrol. Those three things I have been tempted to go into.
It'd be great for Canada's theater, but like, what would you be apprehending from Canada?
Oh, dude, there's so many motherfuckers coming across the border from Canada. So many. Like, they're honestly speaking, Canada is the untalked about war front that we are facing right now. We're just not talking about it enough.
Well, to that.
Okay, so let's talk about that. The biggest elephant in the fucking room. What appeared to be the complete and utter capitulation of Donald Trump to the deep state that turned into, oh my God, he's going after Obama.
What did he do with Ukraine? What's going on with? Well, I guess that ties into it later, doesn't it?
It kind of does, but you know, let's focus on the list, the infamous list first.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so what we have right now, and this is so let's just start from the beginning. So Donald Trump comes out and basically says, "There's no list. It's fake and gay. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, fucking drop it." And all of a sudden, it sends everybody into a fucking tizzy on our side. Now, our side is split between two sides, either people that, you know, trust the message and believe, or those that are like, oh my God, you're fucking betraying us. And then you had the left. The left immediately jumped on the betrayal bandwagon, of course, because, you know, they don't have any morals. They don't care what they fucking actually advocate about, because, you know, any other day they don't give a shit about Epstein and all that bullshit. They just care about political points.
Well, when it comes to the betrayal versus the trust factions, I mean, both of them are equally valid.
Yes, and you're absolutely correct. But then the Wall Street Journal. Now, we all know how shady and fucking dirty the Wall Street Journal is. All of us do.
Yep.
Hell, Dale, I can remember you sent me an article one time from the Wall Street Journal. You're like, hey, look at this stupid shit. And I'm like, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
But the Wall Street Journal puts out a story about a supposed letter that is supposedly found in an album that Jeffrey Epstein kept as a memento from Donald Trump.
Oh.
And in this letter, it was basically insinuating that there was something nefarious going on between Jeffrey Epstein and Trump and yada yada, so on and so forth, and that it was their great enigma, as the letter would put it, basically. Well, here's the fucking problem with that letter. There was no verification the letter actually existed. It was purely supposition. And there was no confirmation of said album either. The claim that this thing even existed was laughable at best. But here's the thing, is there were two events prior to this situation, in between the time when Trump calls the Epstein list fake and gay to this Wall Street Journal article. There were two events that went under the radar very heavily. And those two events were the calling of Comey and Brennan before Congress and criminal referrals to the DOJ for both men. Those
Yes.
two events completely went under the radar. Nobody was talking about them, period in the story. And I think that might have been the fucking point. This is the scary part about this. I think that might have been the point. Come out, say something so ridiculous and so fucking stupid that it completely camouflages these two things happening. Because then it doesn't allow the spin doctors to actually put together a spin for the activities of Comey and Brennan. Then after the Wall Street Journal article, all of a sudden Trump comes out and is like, hey, we're declassifying everything with the grand jury testimony of the Epstein shit. And then immediately removed Comey's daughter, I forget her first name off the top of my head, removes Comey's daughter from the U.S. prosecutor's office. And then, follow on after that, intel drops in regards to Russiagate and Barack Obama and his involvement and Comey's involvement and Brennan's involvement. And it, at this point in time, it looks like it was the biggest bait that could have ever been laid. Throw as much shit out there as possible. Use the other team's playbook against them. Throw as much shit out there as possible. Create as much chaos to the maximum as possible. And then fucking nuke the bastards. Oh, by the way, what did Obama do as soon as the intel drop about him and Russiagate started dropping? He went on a podcast and immediately tried shoring up his public image as much as possible. So, I don't know about you guys, but there's a big thing there. Now, here's the cool thing. And something that I did not realize was actually potentially going to get released as part of the grand jury testimony. The financial records. Because here's the thing, is there is a very distinct likelihood that a lot of shit did get destroyed as part of the Biden cleanup, as I'm going to refer to it from this point on. And more than likely, lots of stuff was destroyed. But the grand jury testimony would still be intact, of course, because that's controlled by the courts. And at the end of the day, it looks like the paper trail that we are going to be following is actually the money trail. And the fact that we're going to be able to see who was paying who when it comes to the Epstein network. So, I don't know about you guys, but there's a lot of people about to get burned. And you notice they have stepped up the attacks, they have stepped up the activities, they are attempting as best as they can to get us drawn into a war in Ukraine as hard as they can. To build on Gavin's question in regards to Ukraine, again, I believe I told you this already, but I'll just repeat it for the sake of the viewers. The Ukraine situation is, we have given permission for NATO to buy stuff, and then they can ship stuff that they buy or that they have already in stockpile to Ukraine. We're not sending any more to Ukraine. We're letting NATO supply Ukraine which means it's NATO money being used instead of US money. Now, yes, some people might be like, oh, but the US funds the majority of NATO. Sure. But here's the thing. We can slowly slick back that money through other means, especially if NATO is buying stuff from us. So basically, it's a bait and switch. They pay money to us, we give them stuff, they send stuff to Ukraine, and it doesn't matter because they're not going to be able to send enough in order to turn the tide of the war because the war's already been decided. So, there you go. Now, how this all ties into the situation with Epstein and Obama is that Ukraine was a big part of Russiagate. The whole attempt to prove that Russia did in fact interfere in the 2016 election and that they were colluding with Trump and yada yada yada. Again, everything's basically been disproved other than there's and here's the problem I have with the whole Russia connection is that it would appear that a Belarusian group was the one responsible. Now you can be like, oh, they were working on the orders of the Kremlin, and it's like, okay, well, we don't know. We will never fucking know because at the end of the day, there's a lot of Slavs in the world that think Donald Trump is the shit. So it is what it is. So flavor to taste. But what do you guys think so far?
Well, I actually had no idea that it was, people were saying it actually might be, Belarusian instead of Russian. That's completely...
No, the evidence that we do have of potential interference was that it was a Belarusian group that was involved with it, not an actual Russian group.
Ah, interesting. Now, as to the stuff you were mentioning earlier with Brennan and those people, the only concern I have is what is the statute of limitations on whatever it is they're attempting to like get them on, because all this
is
stuff
full
happened...
RICO.
Oh, and does that...
This is full RICO.
Does that bypass statute of limitations issues?
Yes, RICO cases, they bypass statute of limitations completely.
All right, that's good.
Oh yeah, no, this is full on conspiracy shit.
All right.
So, how if all of this is not a thing, if this is a ruse and a psyop, how can you prove that? Like, how it's been so entrenched in folk culture for the past several years that you can't really brush it off. It's like Nixon and Watergate all over again.
Well, here's my point. Is as I said previously, and Gavin, you weren't here for the conversation between me and Dale about this, unfortunately. One of the things that I pointed out, what I pointed out in the conversation with me and Dale is what is the possibility that names are on that list that should not be on that list? Because here's the point. How so one of the things I have to establish for you real quick is that people that are running human trafficking rings do not keep names of their clients. That is one of the most sacred things is their clients. And so they do not keep lists of their clients, period, in a story. The only time you will find a black book in a criminal enterprise is when it's a book, like bookie book, people that owe you money. That's when you find black books.
Yeah, the booking book.
And so at the end of the day, the likelihood that Epstein had a book of any sort with client names, I completely doubt it to begin with. I've always held the belief that it was a compiled list of people that they had identified, because how SVU investigations, which this is an SVU or Special Victims Unit style investigation, is that some poor schmuck has to sit down and watch the tapes. And that poor schmuck is responsible either identifying people in the videos or capturing images of the people in the videos so that they can be ran through facial recognition and can be identified at a later date. That's
Okay.
how this shit works. And so then a FBI list would have been compiled. Well, the problem is you have Comey and you have Brennan. What are the likelihood of Comey and Brennan receiving orders from Obama to add names to that list that those names aren't supposed to be there?
That's treason.
It's greater than 0%.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, we are looking at a potential where the list that we have, quote unquote, is fake and gay, and we need to go back and try to figure out who's actually in the tapes. And if I had to make a guess what Biden and his guys were focused on destroying?
The list.
The tape.
The tapes.
Or the tape. Yeah, the tapes. So, is that why Obama and Comey are being prosecuted?
Comey, Brennan,
'Cause I know
and it looks like Obama's going to be drawn up on shit.
Yeah, because it looks like, or because I know the Dems have been squawking that it's politically motivated. I mean, the hypocrisy of that on the surface.
Oh no,
right off the bat.
it is politically motivated because they tried to murder a man.
Yeah.
Right. I was gonna say, like, it's politically motivated. Be like, yup.
Dale, no, they tried to kill him like 4 times in his first term.
Oh, interesting.
They've
really?
attempted to
I didn't know
murder
that.
a man, and he's coming for blood. Like, that's what this comes down to. And so Comey's fucked, Brennan is fucked, and Obama, if we manage to get Obama, do you realize what this does to Europe?
Obama's
Fuck
like
them hard.
the golden goose.
Now, here's the thing, is what my position is almost in its entirety at this juncture is that this was a very, very well planned and well thought out fucking honeypot. I think they overplayed their fucking hand. They thought they had Donald Trump dead to rights, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, we're releasing the grand jury testimony."
Yeah.
That completely blows any claim out of the fucking water because the grand jury testimony is going to have names associated with it. And because they've identified that Comey, Brennan, and Obama have all of the fingerprints all over the fucking Russiagate thing, they've got them on RICO charges.
Okay.
And again, RICO does not have a statute of limitations.
So here's a question, because as of now, the administration doesn't really have access to those grand jury testimonies since they're sealed by a court. What do you think the odds are that the court will actually grant them they'll actually unseal it and let them even look?
The Supreme Court has to pass that order down, and well, if the Supreme Court knows what's good for it, they'll do it. They threw a fucking massive political hot potato in the form of a fucking nuclear warhead into the lap of the judiciary. And if the judiciary does not unseal those fucking testimony, oh brother.
Yeah, it's,
Because Trump will be able to use it as an attack on the judiciary.
I was gonna say, if you don't seal it, then you're guilty by, yeah,
You mean unseal it?
unseal it. Yes.
But yeah, no, that's what happened there. Is he threw a hot potato into the hands of the courts and said, "Hey, your turn."
Right.
So is this legitimate and reasonable speculation, or is this getting red pilled?
Oh no, this is all legitimate speculation.
So the one
Okay.
Because
Sorry.
just real quick, Dale, I apologize, but you have to understand, we had no fucking clue what the hell was going on. We had no fucking idea. And then all of the pieces fell into place. And it was like, oh my god, the puzzle has been revealed.
Right. So the one thing I am wondering, because this is the reason why courts generally seal this stuff, is, and the argument is going to be made, like when they're trying to do this, that like you can't unseal this testimony because it's like it may unfairly malign people who might have just been on his plane or something, right? Like, or unfair.
That's
it
the
may
thing.
Smear people who may have just been completely innocent and just happened to hang out with Jeffrey Epstein one day, not even knowing about his issues.
But that's the thing, is that that's part of the order. Part of the order that Trump passed to the DOJ was, hey, make sure we release the information that needs to be released. Don't release anything that is, just not concrete. So if some dude took a flight, that's fine. But if he went to the island,
right,
that's what we need to know.
Right.
Now, here's the other thing. I'm going to say this right now. Jeffrey Epstein had 2 planes. He had one plane that he used for domestic flights, and then he had another plane, Lolita Express, that he used for international flights. Lolita Express is the plane in question because the other plane never went to the island. By the way, I'm going to point this out, and why the leftist argument that Trump took plane rides with Epstein before, this is where their argument falls flat, because that second plane was the only plane that Trump flew on. That was the domestic plane.
Well, I think more broadly, their whole point falls apart just because if they had like actual evidence that Trump was doing bad shit with Epstein, wouldn't the same administration that tried to jail him for like 90 years for a bookkeeping error in New York, wouldn't that administration have gone and released it or leaked it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And again, like their arguments fall flat completely. That's why people are laughing at them whenever they're like, "Oh, Trump's a pedophile." Like we literally just laugh at him because it's like, well, you're retarded. Congratulations.
Indeed.
But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. At this point, is you have this large scale, what appears to be or appears to have been a ruse to draw people out. And mind you, there's indications that this was meant to draw out Congress people as well. Put Congress people into incredibly compromised positions and create the conditions where pressure can be applied to these Congress people in the event that they don't want to play ball. And mind you, that goes into our next topic, our next focus point, and that is the Federal Reserve. So here's the thing. The Federal Reserve is, in its previous form, it was a curse upon curse upon curses. It was the most poisonous fruit that the United States had ever received. Frankly speaking, even the nothing compared to the War of 1812 or the American Civil War or any of that shit. Nothing compared to the Federal Reserve. Because at the end of the day, the Federal Reserve is what locked us into the British sphere of influence. Even though we had our own sphere of influence, the British ultimately fucking dictated our overall policy on the monetary side. And monetary policy directly affects fiscal policy. Fiscal policy affects foreign policy. So remember, gentlemen, kinetic warfare is the end state of financial warfare. Period. End of story.
Right.
So what you end up having right now is that there was this whole thing while this was all going on, while the shit show over Epstein is in full fucking swing. During that time period, Anna Paulina Luna comes out and she starts talking mad shit about Jerome Powell. Powell's refusing to cut rates. He's refusing to do this. He's refusing to do that. We're gonna fire him. Yada yada yada. Shit that I as you guys saw, I said I will renounce any support I had for Trump. Period. In a story if he fires Jerome Powell, because Jerome Powell is the only reason that right now we are a sovereign fucking nation. If it was not for Jerome Powell, we would be in such an economic crisis right now. It would be unfucking real, because
Then
sulfur
Trump being, in the spot that he's in, if he knew that, why the hell would he even discuss it?
Well, here's the problem. If you don't trust Trump, trust Tom Luongo.
That's a new name.
Tom Luongo, Gold Goats and Guns. He's a great analyst, and he's got great ability to see the things that other people are not seeing. And
Okay.
And what you end up having is that all of a sudden, all the shit blows up with Epstein, and immediately after that they start talking about firing Powell, and then all of a sudden they drop, hey, Washington, you have the Wall Street Journal, sorry, I almost said Washington Street Journal, Wall Street Post, my bad. Wall Street Journal drops their fucking bullshit, and then Trump comes out immediately and says, hey, we're going to release the grand jury stuff, and then immediately starts talking about going after Obama. And then immediately after that, Trump backs down off of Jerome Powell. And it creates the conditions where it's one of the most insane cycles of news I have ever fucking seen. Now, as Tom
to play with the media.
Well, it's not just that. He's also trying to create the conditions where Jerome Powell can do the only thing that he has left to do, and that's fall on his sword. See, what I was not aware of, and I just had no fucking clue about this, because unfortunately I don't have my membership to Gold Goats and Guns right now. So unfortunately I'm not getting the bi-weekly updates or the 2 weekly updates that Tom posts on Sunday and Wednesdays. I'm not getting that information. And so all I'm getting is what I'm seeing on other sourcing, and so I'm not getting the analysis from him to be able to start piecing things together and start weaving the tapestry.
Okay.
But what you end up having is that the only thing that Jerome Powell has left to do is literally fall on his sword and be replaced, because he's finished the job. He has put us in such a spectacular position to destroy the euro-dollar market, to destroy the LBMA, which we'll get into that here in a second, because fucking Russia just pulled something off I didn't think they were going to pull off. And they've managed to create the conditions where one Scott Bessent, the current U.S. Treasury head, can come in and be the head of the Federal Reserve. And by the way, that's the only person they're talking about. And oh, by the way, they just compromised all of the senators that would oppose Scott Bessent. So now that Senate confirmation is going to happen.
Interesting.
And then Scott Bessent can go in and start doing what he needs to do in order to not only right the ship, but also put into play the U.S. crypto reserve.
So it's not a digital dollar. It's just...
It's Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, and I forget what the other one is.
Oh, so I need to get some coins, like, now.
I would recommend it.
Gotcha.
Omega, brother, how are you doing? Saw you unmute your mic. Never mind. He's shy.
Fair enough. So yeah.
Hello, buddy. It's all right.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
Haha.
He lives.
Yeah, hi. The other cryptocurrency you were talking about, isn't it called Ethereum or Ethereal, something like that?
Ethereum.
I don't know if Ethereum actually got selected for it. If it did, cool. If it didn't, I just don't know. I just
okay.
know. Oh, it wasn't Solana. It was Cardano.
Cardano
Was.
is a good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cardano was the other one.
Did they pick up Avalanche or anything like that?
No, they're only going with the stuff that actually makes sense for the U.S. So what you
Okay.
end up having is Bitcoin. Bitcoin will be used as basically a bearer asset, just like how bonds are used as a bearer asset. Then you have Tether, which is XRP. Tether will be used as a supplement to the SWIFT system, and eventually I believe it will replace the SWIFT system in the United States. If you go to South America right now, Tether is everywhere. Like, you can use the Tether network to pay for anything in South America, basically.
Wow.
And then Cardano has some great qualities about it. And, you know, it's just a case of you have all of these different things that are coming together to form a backstop for the U.S. financial system. So just looking at this picture real quick, yeah, that's where we're at right now.
The one I just posted?
Mind you, yeah,
Right,
and mind you, I do want to point out that Christine Lagarde has been defending that 2.0. Oh, excuse me. Has been defending that 2.0 mark like hell.
Yeah. So I just want to point out for those of us listening who might not know what that graph means, just want to, or might not understand why I posted it. When you looking at that graph, you will hear a large sucking sound. And what that sound is all the liquidity being sucked out of Europe, out of China, out of everywhere that's not the US, and being absorbed into US treasuries.
Yep. And imagine if all of a sudden Bitcoin is part of that mix. It's literally a situation of you are creating the conditions where so much liquidity will be available in the United States for investment that it will kickstart a massive boom that as long as the assets are there, we can't go bust.
Right.
So at this point in time, and mind you, I suspect that if Scott Bessent becomes the Fed chair, which I do believe he will, if he becomes the Fed chair, he is going to start really, really putting the pressure on.
Who do you think will replace him as Treasury Secretary?
I have had my looks for a one Judy Shelton, potentially, because I've heard rumblings that she has come back into the fold a little bit. There were rumors that potentially Judy Shelton, it's either Bessent at Fed and then Shelton at Treasury, or it's going to be Bessent at Treasury and Shelton at Fed, one of the two.
Yeah. I'm curious, why do you no longer think that they'll replace Powell with Jamie Dimon?
So, Jamie Dimon, so one of the things that I had identified, and it had been pointed out to me by a couple other people, Jamie Dimon is busy in the private equity side of things. He is literally gouging the Europeans on every bit of liquidity. He refuses. JP Morgan Chase, as a company, refuses to take European debt at par. he will not, like, basically it's a 1.5 ratio bare minimum at this point in time. If you want $1 billion, I got $1 billion, but you're going to have to give me $1.5 billion in EU debt. He is forcing a massive conversion issue on the EU in a way that the EU can't compensate for. The repo markets are absolutely destroying them. So, again, there is a potential that they might tap him, but at this point in time, I think he's more valuable in the private sector.
Ah, fair enough.
But Judy Shelton's important, because if we want to financialize gold and silver, which that's another discussion that's being had right now, is the potential that gold and silver will become money again. Because coincidentally, while all this is going on, Texas, one of the states that put a bill forward, Texas put a bill forward to make gold money again and make it convertible into dollars and dollars convertible into gold.
So what you're saying is move to Texas?
No, what I'm saying is that if that happens, then at that point in time, brother, Judy Shelton comes in on a fucking Pegasus and is like, I have a mechanism for that. Build back tips. And then all of a sudden,
exactly.
Judy Shelton formerly worked at the, I believe, Dallas Fed, if I remember correctly, and that's why Judy Shelton is a name that I would pay attention to in this regard, because it's Texas that put that bill forward, and Judy Shelton worked at the Dallas Fed. And she had originally been at the Fed. She's good friends with Powell. She mentored under Powell, and then she also is compatriots with Scott Bessent. Like, she's part of that group. And so, like, I do believe she can come in and be a great fucking asset, especially with her white paper. That, again, there's a white paper that she put out. It's called Goldback Tips. The idea being is that you can peg the dollar at a percentage level, basically, to gold, meaning that, you know, the liquidity problem of having a gold-backed currency isn't an issue, and so on and so forth. It creates a fractional system where, at least to a degree, you don't have the same problems that you would have with just straight up pegging the dollar to gold, because that would be a problem, especially in our current situation. Oh God, in our current situation with the amount of sovereign debt we have, which that's another problem, though, is because I'm still debating on whether or not the whole sovereign debt issue is actually as big of a deal as it's played up to be. Because here's another thing, and again, I'm going to bash on him. Thomas Massie is a fucking retard. Like,
yeah, they don't understand the concept of operating under deficit.
Well, it's not even that. Is that every time Massie has opened his mouth so far, he has been so off the markets, unfucking real. Like, when he was bitching about the big beautiful bill, for example, he was bitching, and then all of a sudden the tariffs went into effect. We started collecting on those revenues. We started actually working towards the crypto stuff. We started actually seeing the movement, and all of a sudden the CBO projections were fucking immaculate, comparatively speaking. You know, this wasn't like Build Back Better, for example, when the CBO report came out, because they had managed to stall out Build Back Better as much as they did. When the CBO report came out, and it's like, oh, hey, by the way, it's going to raise the deficit by 10 trillion over 3 years. You know, oh, we're getting 4 trillion over 10 years. That's dropping the fucking bucket. Oh, and by the way, what the CBO report, because I haven't seen the revised CBO report yet. I think it should come out end of this month or next month. But the revised CBO report is going to show, oh, by the way, there's a potential, if things continue the way they're going, we might actually run a budget surplus off of this. So it creates a whole different dynamic that is going on right now. And Massey, at this point in time, I'm convinced he's compromised. I'm convinced that somebody is holding his leash, and we just can't see who.
I believe in Massey's intentions over the years. I just think he's ignorant.
Well, I hope it's ignorance. That would be the best. That would be the best case scenario.
All he's doing is toting Ron Paul's narrative, and Ron doesn't know anything about lending. So
Ron has no idea about the fucking. He has no idea about the pipeline or about the.
Well, here's the deal:
piping.
like all wealth is, all major wealth in the United States is attained through debt and being able to borrow a hard asset against a liquid asset. So why can't the government do that?
Well, it's not even just that. Why can't the government create the conditions where people can use multiple ways to fund things?
They wouldn't be able to borrow the money in the first place if they didn't have the assets to do it reasonably. The bank wouldn't lend to them.
Well, and that's also the other thing is that, you know, like I've seen it a couple times. There's a bunch of people that are still bitching about, like, oh, what happened to that audit of Fort Knox? It's like, well, they can't reveal that yet until and again, if gold-backed tips goes into effect and all of a sudden it turns out, oh, by the way, we have 500 million tons of fucking gold in Fort Knox, all of a sudden it creates a fucking crunch on the world that people are not prepared for. Now,
hey guys,
we'll be
guess
fine.
what? We're still rich.
By the way,
and don't forget, if I remember correctly, we also have a couple of other repositories too where precious metals are kept.
Yes, of course. But the point is that if all of a sudden it's revealed that we have a shit ton more gold than people thought we did, and then all of a sudden the world is sitting there like, what?
You know, the world knows something that the American public doesn't know about that due to these psyops because, and I don't know if this ties in very well, but a lot of international agencies have been doing a lot of research on mining precious metals in the Kuiper Belt and stuff like that.
Well, not even just that either. Look at the situation with Russia. So, what was it? Spymex? I think it's called Spymex. Hold on, give me a second. Let me look at my text again, because I was talking to my dad about it earlier.
Oh, how is your dad, by the way?
He's doing good.
Good.
Spymex. Okay, so Spymex is a new. So Spymex just opened up a new gold contract. Which, by the way, there's no other gold contract competing with the LBMA.
What is the LBMA?
All of a sudden, it's the fuck. Hold on. I forget what it stands for. It's the London gold contract. Oh, the LBMA. My bad. LBMA. London Bullion Market Association.
I see.
But it's their gold contract and gold market in London.
You said London Bullion, I went to chicken broth. I think I need to screw my head back.
Bullion, not bullion.
Yeah, I need to go read a book.
Apparently you're hungry. But the point is that now you have a competing gold contract in Russia, in St. Petersburg. And, oh, by the way, what happens if we set up a competing gold contract here in the U.S.? All of a sudden, the LBMA becomes very, very, very problematic. Because, oh, by the way, the LBMA is having problem delivering gold right now.
Really?
And what happens if all of a sudden we set up a gold contract here in the U.S. and we go like, oh, hey, by the way, we have 500 million tons, which is effectively double what we last reported having. Because last time we reported our gold reserves, it was like 280 something.
Having the dominant hard currency would be insane.
Well, not even just the dominant hard currency, but the most liquid hard currency. Because again, you have gold-backed tips, so a fractional dollar denomination in gold. You have Bitcoin, which then can be also associated with gold or with just bonds, or you could do this, that, the other, so on and so forth. The possibilities are fucking endless. You could have one of the most liquid and hard markets in the entire fucking world, and Europe would fall apart financially in months after this is unveiled, because nobody's gonna want European bonds. Nobody's gonna want European European debt. Nobody's gonna want European anything, because they're all gonna be looking at the U.S. and be like, "Sir, can I have another?"
Well, and that's going to be, it's going to break up the EU, because there's an awful lot of individual countries that are wanting to jump ship.
Well, yes, and shit. You look at what's going on with Ukraine right now. You know, Italy is positioning very well to jump ship. Greece has basically already jumped ship. It's hilarious what's going on with Greece, and I just gonna say
Austria and Hungary have already said no too. Hungary.
I'm just gonna say it right now, though. People slept on Greece. I don't think they saw the Greek card coming out.
No, that was a new one.
Well, that's the thing, is everybody assumes like, oh, Greece is, a debt-ridden piece of shit, yada yada yada. No, we signed a massive fucking arms deal with Greece, and we are arming them to become one of the most well-equipped and well-trained militaries in all of Europe.
Yeah, I remember during the Obama administration as a kid when Greece actually fell apart, or supposedly did anyway.
Yeah.
Oh no, they did.
Yeah.
They did, but the point is that they're positioning themselves very well right now.
Good.
And imagine this. You lose Spain. You lose Italy. You lose Greece. You lose Hungary. You lose Austria. You lose all of these different fucking Southern European countries. What is left? Oh, by the way, Italy is a major fucking component of the Eurodollar system. A major component. A lot of people sleep on Italy, because Italy, it's the place about pasta and wine and being friendly with your neighbors and being loud and obnoxious in conversations and waving your hands around. Yeah, the fucking Lombardy region of Italy is a fucking gold mine of industrial activity. Oh, by the way, the French are currently trying to enforce a fucking hundreds of year old treaty on Italy, France is, to take northern Italy from them.
Really?
I'd be like, no.
Oh no, I'm convinced at this point in time there might be a land war between Italy and fucking France. Oh, by the way, what did Italy just announce literally 2 days ago?
What?
What happened? Because that would be way out of left field.
Oh, Italy just announced the upgrade and improvement project to their C4 Ariete tanks.
I thought they got a batch of Challengers or some shit like that.
No, Italy has its own tank industry.
I didn't know that.
And mind you, the C4 Ariete is what the Leopard wishes it was. Oh, by the way, the OF40.
Okay.
Oh, the OF40 is the precursor to the C4 Ariete.
God.
What does Ariete mean?
I forget what it means. Hold on.
Fair enough. But that would be interesting, being that two countries that basically don't have an army declaring war with each other.
This is it's C1 Ariete, my bad. By the way, it stands for battering ram.
Fair enough.
It's cool as shit.
That's a great name, by the way.
Man, I just love seeing Rome and Napoleon go at it. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, that's right. The C2 Ariete is a thing too.
All I can say is that the Ariete has got to be better than Leclerc.
Oh no, it's definitely better than Leclerc. But no, the point is that they just announced that they are that they're doing an upgrade and improvement program to yes, that is me actually. Funny enough, he's my ancestor. Anyways, I kid, I joke. But the point is that at the end of the day, you have this situation where France is trying to enforce shit on Italy to force Italy back into compliance, but Italy is like, no, go fuck yourself. Oh, by the way, hey, Greece, you want to get some target practice on some fucking Franks? Yeah, I would love that. We've had a score to settle with them for years.
How are they coordinating?
There's been some heavy cooperation between the Italian and Greek states for the past few months. Lots of naval exercises.
See, I didn't know any of that.
Oh yeah, no, the indications are at this point in time that more than likely what is going to happen is a bifurcation of Europe. Southern Europe is going to side with the U.S. Northern Europe is going to try to go at it at its own, and they're going to get their asses stomped financially. A shot will never be fired between Southern. Well, okay, there might be a confrontation between pizza maker tank. That's great. There might be a confrontation between the Italians and the French, depending on how this whole diplomatic situation plays out. But at the end of the fucking day, the Italians are going to be able to kick the shit out of the fucking French because, oh, by the way, who has the most foreign military bases in Italy?
The U.S.?
Don't we do?
Yeah, I think
Yep.
the United States does.
If I remember correctly, it's something like 140.
Yeah,
It's a
try
ridiculous
something
number. It's a ridiculous fucking number of bases in Italy. Oh, by the way, what happens if the most liquid market in the fucking world is helping finance the Italian government? Yeah, no, France is fucked.
Don't we have bases in France?
Well, that's I don't believe we do. I don't believe we have any bases in France. I think they're
I know
NATO
we had them
bases.
in Germany. I know we had them in
No.
Germany.
So what you're thinking of is the NATO bases. The NATO
Is that
bases
what
are not. Yeah, the U.S. the actual U.S. bases are in places like Italy and Germany. The NATO bases are in France. Which do we have
Gotcha.
troops in France? Yes, but those troops will not be in France when shit pops off. I guarantee it. But no, the point is at the end of the day, we have a distinct possibility of this bifurcation of Europe. And when it happens, Northern Europe is fucked. And I laugh at the Swedes and the Finns because they decided to sign on for this bullshit.
Wow, I thought Sweden and Finland were backing up.
No, they're fucking they're going whole hog because
What about
Russians.
Norway?
Norway's was a founding member of NATO. What do you mean?
Okay, I thought one of the Nordic nations was backing down.
Denmark's already basically straight up said like, hey, we can't meet that 5% fucking goal. Period. In the story. Like we just can't. We do not have the economy for it. So Denmark is kind of a lesser player, but again, the end result being that you have Europe bifurcate, and then all of a sudden it creates the conditions where we're all sitting there laughing our fucking asses off.
Well, it's essentially financial Europe against working class Europe, the way the United States is split up between the urban and the country.
Yeah, basically. But
Yep.
now, how does this affect the situation in Ukraine? Because we can talk about that a little bit as well. Because right now, so Donald Trump comes out and he says, Russia, you have 50 days. Okay, what the fuck does that mean, Donald? Because are you gonna pull an Iran with that? Okay, well, that's not gonna go the same way you think it's going to go. Guaranteed.
Is there something cryptic with that?
Well, here's the thing. Is one, we have a very distinct possibility the Ukrainians are lying about a lot of shit.
We knew that for a long time.
Hold on. Let me try to get my shocked face, on real quick so I can, kind of look surprised. I'm not surprised at all. The Ukrainians lying. Oh my God. Such a fucking, newsreel fucking breaking. But anyways, the point is that the Ukrainians have had to admit losses in terrain that have been fucking biblical for their situation. They have lost areas. They have lost areas and haven't been reporting them for up to 2 months. There was an area on the maps that was being indicated that was still under Ukrainian control that was actually confirmed to have been abandoned by the Ukrainians almost 6 weeks prior.
Wow.
Like basically the frontline data that we have on Ukraine is easily 2 months behind, meaning there is a potential that the operations that we're currently seeing along the Kherson area are actually in part of a larger operation that's currently ongoing that the Ukrainians are refusing to talk about right now, and that the Europeans are forcing the Ukrainians to not talk about it.
I only got one thing to say. If the Ukraine war was really going in Ukraine's favor, then why in the fuck do they have mothers blowing themselves up just to kill fucking recruiters?
Well, yeah, true. But
where's all of our mothballed arsenal going in all of this?
Well, that's the thing is we've stopped sending stuff.
Why did they say Trump is still pledging stuff to Ukraine?
No, because that's the narrative they need to spin. What he's doing is he's selling stuff to NATO.
Okay.
He's selling stuff to NATO, and then NATO is sending stuff to Ukraine.
Send me some data that I can read on that I can verify. All the news is spinning this up to Trump going back on everybody and sending.
No, he's not. And I will try to find it for you real quick and show you what actually happened. But like the Patriot batteries, and here's the problem, is that they're spinning it so well that you have to find the news story, and then you need to compare it to other news stories that are currently coming out of NATO. Like, for example, the whole 6 Patriot batteries that are quote unquote being sent to Ukraine. Well, it turns out that, oh, hey, this country, and I forget what country it was. I think it was Germany. Germany's buying 6-pack 3s, and they're sending 6-pack 2s to Ukraine.
So they're sending them the shittier
So Germany's
versions.
keeping.
What'd you say, Dale?
I said, so they're sending them the shittier versions.
That's honestly really funny.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, the pack 3 and the pack 2 are supposed to work together.
Oh.
You can have these ones.
Well, no, the pack 2 has, if I remember correctly, pack 2 has a bigger missile. Pack 3 has smaller missiles. These are, I believe, they're referred to as the Interceptor. They're smaller, more maneuverable, and the launcher has more of them. Whereas the pack 2 has the older Interceptor, which is bigger and has longer range.
So are these
So
ground
they're supposed to work
missiles,
together.
Are these ground missiles or are these missile interceptors?
These are air defense.
Oh, SAMs.
Yeah, the Patriot.
Okay.
But the point is that you have to find those articles to actually get the full narrative. Like, oh yeah, no, it's Trump is selling stuff to NATO, and then NATO is sending stuff to Ukraine. Because remember, Ukraine defaulted on all of their sovereign debt. They've stopped servicing their sovereign debt.
Wow.
It's a massive default.
Did they not declare bankruptcy or anything?
No, the Brits backed all their debt.
What?
Yeah. The Brits had made the pledge to back all of their debt prior to the default, and now that they've defaulted, it's on the Brits to pay it back.
So they got a GM bailout.
Yeah, basically.
That's absurd.
Well, no, it wasn't a bailout. It was literally just the Brits, as part of their obligation to Ukraine bullshit. That was one of the obligations they made.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this was like a year and a half ago or something like that when they made it.
Yep. It's their
But
problem.
the point is that Ukraine is in much worse condition than we're being told. Period. End of story. Like, again, the map data is easily 2 months behind. Hell, they're reporting the fighting just started in Kherson, which means, in my opinion, they're probably even further ahead in the Donbass area, and probably even further ahead in the Sumy area and the Kharkov area than we're being told. Period. End of story.
So I've not been paying attention the past year or so with the war front over there. How far into the Ukraine is Russia right now?
All right, so I'm gonna use. I don't have access to the Russian sourcing. The Russian sourcing is much more like actually up to date and actually like showing more like. And I know somebody is going to be like, "Oh, but they have a bias." It's like, okay, yeah, but at the same time, when DPA is compiling all the data together, because DPA has probably the most well-rounded map. DPA is pointing out, like, these are impossible salients. These salients can't exist. So
it's what we got. As long as it's not task and purpose, I'm sitting.
Well, yeah, fucking shit, fucking task and purpose.
Well, there's a reason why Chris Cappy left.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he's a fucking shyster and he's a fucking grifter. I don't I hate the fact that he is as tied into the fucking into the unsubscribed guys as much as he is, but luckily he's not like a.
They kind of politely grilled the shit out of him in his last interview.
Yeah, I know, because he is considered a bit of a talking head.
He's a loyalist, exactly.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, mind you, I will point this out. Who went to the army birthday and who didn't?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna point that out.
That is a good question. Who did go and who didn't go?
Well, I know I'm pretty sure Cappy didn't, because I didn't see any indication of him going. And I thought I would have seen some indication of him going. Now, I don't follow him specifically, so if he posted shit on his own stuff, that's whatever, cool, fine. But out of all the people that I follow that went there, not a single one fucking met up with Cappy. So right now we have two very specific situations that are going on. So we have the start of the encirclement of Pokrovsk, which is Pokrovsk and Minorod, which that situation right there, that Pokrovsk is a major logistics site. Like this, there's a lot of logistics connectivity when it comes to Pokrovsk. So across the board, losing that city is a huge fucking problem.
Okay.
And then Konstantivka is also in the shit, because there's a massive salient that's formed as part of that, which, the Russians, they love doing this. They love hitting a place, fixing a shit ton of forces, and then going around and surrounding it and then bombing it to shit and back. Which is on the road to Kramatorsk, which then at that point in time, we're also seeing pressure being applied to Seversk. And here's the thing, is that there is all of this talk, there's all this talk that, the Russians are holding, my apologies, the Ukrainians are holding, they're holding, but then you have the shit up north. And they still have not updated the map, by the way. And I know for a fact that this salient that is formed up in the Kharkov area, I know that salient's bigger than what they're saying it is.
Okay, so at this point, what's Russia's goal here?
So at this juncture, the goal is to push to the river. The goal is to get to the river, secure the territory that includes Kherson and Odessa, push to the river, and then create a fuck you zone on probably about 20 or 30 kilometers deep on the other side of the river, which includes Kiev, by the way.
So are they going to reassimilate Eastern Ukraine?
Yes.
Okay.
Which all the indications are. Now, what's really funny is that there are people that are constantly bitching right now that, where did the habitual line crosser, he's been hooked on copium for fucking years, bud. Like he thinks the Patriot's the end all be all for everything, period, in his story, but it's like, okay, that's funny because during the Gulf War the Patriot sucked.
I was just saying that's nothing. That's like saying a T-72 being given to the Arabs is,
Gossy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but habitual line crosser, I put him in the same, like, I specifically avoid episodes with him, and like there's the one podcast that the only reason why I can tolerate the one podcast that they do is because you have Fat Electrician, Angry Cops, and Eli there. If it wasn't for those three, I could not watch that podcast because I hate habitual line crosser that much. I think he's just an absolute fucking nematode, and he's annoying.
Great.
Well, I was actually asking this in regards to his comments on the Afghan war.
Side note.
I'm not gonna get into that. I do want to do an episode on Afghanistan because I have learned some new information about Afghanistan that I had I have fucked everybody, by the way.
Unsubscribe. One of my favorite episodes they put out was with Wendigoon talking about sovereign citizens. That was a really good one.
Well, Wendigoon's a good chitlin. He's a good chitlin.
He's generally on the dot.
He's good and wholesome. But I would have to say though, probably my least favorite episode is the one with Lardass.
Oh, Ryan Macbeth. Well, shit. Well, okay. So here's the fun part because you brought up Ryan Macbeth. I'll point out some things. So drone stuff when it comes to Ukraine. Right now, there's this whole fucking to-do with the drone attacks. Ukraine's launching these massive drone attacks, and it's like, okay, first off, the most drones that I've seen reported when it comes to the Ukrainian attacks is like 50.
Yeah, that war footage from the drones is pretty few and far between.
Well, no. I'm talking about the attacks into Russia. Whereas every time the Russians launch drones, they're launching like 300, 400 of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, congratulations. You hit a couple targets. That's cool. Guess what? You're getting fucking obliterated. So
pretty much what you're saying is that the Russians actually know how to use a drone swarm.
Well, and to what degree they can. But the point is that at the end of the fucking day, it's like, yeah, Russia's winning this shit, and the more time that people sit fucking bitching and whining and crying, and I kind of want to get into a personal aside with this right here, because holy shit.
Well, it's like the tag you showed me, the fella with the flag on his bio that's right up there in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
So okay, we could go dox his ass if you want.
Just knock on his door. Hey, bitch.
Hey, you should delete your account now.
Nah, that's harassment. We can't do that. That's illegal.
Oh, come on, dude. We could throw a few of them off of bridges. It'll be fun.
We haven't gotten quite to that.
No. We're
Yeah.
not. We're not to cartel level. Beheading them and stringing them over the side of an overpass yet. We're not there yet.
But they may.
Anyways.
They might fall out of a window, though.
A couple windows
like,
didn't have latches
like-
on them. Oh no.
Oh, you talk about like what happened to Admiral Forrestal when he died, quote unquote.
You mean George S. Patton in his car accident? What?
Oh yeah, that too.
But
And also the dude who's, I forgot what the dude's name is, but anyways, his death exposed MK Ultra.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy.
so I do need to get to a personal aside real quick because because this shit is reached boiling point. If I ever fucking hear an Israeli bitch about the United States ever again, I might just start advocating for nuking that fucking little piece of shit proto-state.
Finally got
Dude.
fed up of the Israelis and their insanity.
No, I got sick and tired of fucking being told I'm wrong because I dare compare Israel to fucking anything.
Well, what do you
I'm
expect?
I'm sick and tired of the fucking supremacy bullshit that they like to fucking loud upon everybody because they're untouchable. Go fuck yourself.
My
No,
issue with them is the blatant hypocrisy between them and the Arabs. They do the
No.
exact same shit.
Here, this is why it's relevant to this conversation because I was in a fucking space the other day. And in this space, these motherfuckers are fucking just they're talking up their normal anti-Russian bullshit. And the only fucking reason why they don't like the Russians is because the Russians dare sell military arms.
I
to
was gonna
anybody.
say, what the fucking hell does Russia have to do with Israel?
It's the only reason why they fucking don't like the Russians, even though the Russians literally keep telling them like, "Hey, we can help you with shit." The Russians have been nothing but kind to these fucking little gremlins, and yet every single chance they get, they shit on the Russians simply because the Russians dare sell a fucking tank or a plane to anybody that's not them. If the Russians were only selling shit to the Israelis would be sucking their fucking cocks.
I was gonna say,
And yet, every time, if I dare fucking make the comparison that, every nation has peculiarities, like Russia to the US, or Russia to Israel, or Russia to this, dude, I fucking nearly lost my fucking goddamn marbles on these people. Because when they started fucking shouting me down, they were like, "Oh, you need to mute this guy. He's a fucking anti-Semite." Go fuck yourself. Fine, you want me to be an anti-Semite? I can happily be a fucking anti-Semite. Fucking glass the entire fucking Levant.
it's not hard.
Remove the entirety of the Semitic people from the fucking planet. I don't care. We can glass
Send
the
every
fucking
single-
Middle East at the same time.
Send every single B-52 we have on Arc-like missions.
But no, it's like, no, you want me to be the devil? Fine, I'm cool with being the fucking devil. You're not
Well,
gonna like the result.
Their governments know better. They've got some crazy Zionist
No.
bullshit coming out of it.
So the bullshit the bullshit that the guy fucking tried to be like, "Oh, well, they conscript and they have all these questionable practices about recruiting people from prisons," and I'm like, first off, you have mandatory service in your country. That's conscription. That's a form of conscription. It's not conscription necessarily, but it's a form of conscription. Oh, by the way, the United States, we have conscription and we recruit from prisons.
It's
Now
soft conscription,
we only recruit from prisons during wartime, but we recruit from prisons. Oh, by the way, Russia only recruited from prisons during wartime. And it was a particular fucking force that was recruiting from the prisons because that force was the only one authorized to recruit from the prisons. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
in the U.S., how it works is that when you get sentenced, they get for example, during the Gulf War and during the Surge, you get sentenced. If depending on your crime, you would get made the offer. Hey, if you enlist in the military for 4 years, you don't have to serve the prison sentence as long as you complete your 4 years with honor.
Pretty much, they use military service as a form of redemption,
Yes.
and to put bodies in uniforms.
And the U.S. has done this since memoriam. It has been a constant fixture of United States society that during wartime we will allow petty criminals and other low-level offenders to enlist in the military in lieu of prison sentences. We have done it for years. So it's like, I'm sorry, but if you're going to try to fucking compare the Russians to anybody, you can compare them to fucking anybody. Like,
Exactly.
they're not special. And the Israelis are no better than, like, the motherfuckers wonder why so many people can't fucking stand them. It's like, you guys are terrible at PR and you're weird as fuck. Get a grip. Congratulations, you're not some fucking special star. You're not some fucking special little fuckheads in the middle of the fucking desert. You're just some fucking douchebags that everybody can't fucking stand because all you have to do, or all you can do, is talk shit and fucking hold yourself on a fucking pedestal.
Yeah.
Congratulations, go fuck yourself.
Well, it's because
They're
they
conscious.
And also, whenever you
Society.
and also every time you criticize them, they scream, "Oh, oh."
Yes.
I mean, their
They
contribution to
anti-Semitism.
society, their contribution to God damn it, their contribution to society as of recent has just been OnlyFans girls. So
Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's funny. I like that.
Yeah.
That was funny.
There's
To paraphrase one of my favorite VTubers, Leaflet, I'm pro-American.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just at this point in time, like I straight up told Bered, one of the Israelis that I'm friends with, like actually friends with, I straight up told her, I'm like, I appreciate your existence so much because you're out of all your people, you're not retarded. And she fucking laughed her ass off at that. That tells you how retarded Israelis are.
Yes. Well,
When
they-
the Israeli can laugh at her people being called retards.
Yeah, well, it's 'cause
it's
they-
really sad, honestly.
It's because they think they're the fucking main characters of the world, and that we only exist just to serve them.
Well, the
That's why they're
Zionist
so
movement
obnoxious.
Anyways, my
discontinued that.
rant over. we can move on because I sorry, I had to get that off my chest. I had to. But the simple fact is that the situation in Ukraine is very much more dynamic than we are being led to believe, and at this juncture, the repression of information is in full effect. They are censoring as much as they can in order to keep people believing that there's a chance that Ukraine can recover, and the problem is that they're breaking the censorship by calling for NATO to get involved directly.
Yeah, I was very to say.
Because NATO would not need to get directly involved if Ukraine was doing well.
Yep.
So,
All I can say
whatever.
is that we pissed away 20 plus years in the great waste of time. So I'm not really all that keen on getting into another war. We have no business fighting to begin with.
okay, fuck it. Do you guys want to do the Afghan segment?
Sure.
Actually, well,
Dale, do you want to take the time to do it? Because I can fucking piss you guys off real hard right now. I can fucking get you all fucking bulging eyeballs pissed.
Go for
If
it.
you say you're coming out as Muslim, then that'll piss me off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Apparently, me and my girlfriend are closet Muslims.
God.
It's because I hate Europeans. Apparently, is what makes me a closet Muslim. I didn't realize that.
That's valid.
I'm honestly surprised the Israelis have never accused you of that.
Well, they might
It's
now
comic.
because I lambasted them as much as I did. I'm going to send this podcast to several key people Just to make it very clear, like, I'm not happy with you people.
Fair enough.
Anyways,
Well,
so
yeah.
go ahead, Justin.
Well, when we get done talking talking about Afghanistan, can we discuss the another death knell in the dinosaur media?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so Afghanistan. So one of the big talking points of the Ukraine bros and the NATO bros and everything is that how Russia failed in Afghanistan, quote unquote. Now, the fun part is when you actually start digging into the Afghan affair when it comes to the Soviet Union, you realize really quickly that the Soviet Union literally pulled out because they finished their mission. They did what they came to do. The problem is that the mission wasn't completed because they didn't realize, the same way that we didn't realize in Afghanistan following our whole affair there, is that nobody can win in Afghanistan unless you purge the population.
Right.
This is how Central Asia works. You have to eliminate the population of a region in order to win. The Mongols figured this out, by the way, and that's why the Timurids fucking fell apart like they did. But I digress.
Wow.
So the Russians, they come in, they do their thing. But one of the things that I found out is that the Mujahideen were not the good guys of the story at all. Because the rise of the Taliban was directly associated with what would become the creation of AQ, or Al-Qaeda. I just prefer calling them AQ for the simplicity. Because the Taliban had literally risen up to crush the AQ elements of the Mujahideen. Because the regular Mujahideen, the non fucky wucky elements of it, had went back the fuck home. But the AQ elements of the Mujahideen decided to stay. And they decided to start doing dirty ass things. One of the key examples was apparently they had a fondness for young children. I'll just leave it at that.
Love that.
And apparently the Taliban, as I have researched further into the creation of and the inception and the activation of the Taliban in Afghanistan, is that the reason why the Taliban were only present in the lowlands and in the particular areas that they were was because of the AQ elements of the Mujahideen. The Mujahideen that went home, the Taliban had no problem with them. But the AQ elements, the Taliban went about killing them. Unfortunately, a particular sect of AQ managed to escape. Guess who?
Bin Laden.
Bin Laden's crew.
Yep. Oh, by the way, who was the bane of everybody's fucking existence in the world for fucking 30 years?
I'm gonna guess Bin Laden.
Exactly. The Taliban are literally the local response to Al-Qaeda. There was no, great theocracy plan. There was no great, we're going out and bombing places and doing this and doing that. No, they were literally just righting the wrongs of the Mujahideen elements that would become the AQ. And so we literally went into Afghanistan to crush the people that saved the country to begin with. All at the behest of the Europeans. So, I don't know what's worse. The fact that we technically killed the good guys of the story, which, okay, the Taliban did some dirty ass shit while they were fighting us. Absolutely. AQ did worse.
Well,
I'll take the lesser of two evils, personally speaking. But I don't know what's worse. The fact that we killed the good guys, or that we helped forward European policy. I don't know which one pisses me off more. You guys might be able to guess.
Here's a question for you, since we're talking about the various factions in Afghanistan. What are your thoughts on Massoud and his group up in the north?
You mean the Northern Alliance?
Yes, exactly.
So the Northern Alliance, the elements of the Mujahideen that made up the Northern Alliance, very few of them ended up turning into the AQ. Very few of them.
My understanding of the region is out of all the factions in Afghanistan, they're kind of closest to being the good guys.
Yeah, no,
and
the
Taliban for quite a while.
Well, that's the thing, is that the Northern Alliance, the groups that made up the Northern Alliance had butted heads with the Taliban for a few years.
Right.
And most of that problem was related around certain areas that the Taliban were working on trying to develop. And there's a Chinese influence to it, there's a British influence to it, and by extension of the British influence, the American influence, and a few other things like that. And I say British influence, I'm mainly referring to European influence, the Europeans as a whole. The EU influence. Let me use that term, the EU influence.
All right.
And so, overall, were the Northern Alliance bad guys? No, because they were primarily the elements of the Mujahideen that just went home after the collapse of the Afghan national government.
Right.
Or the communist national government, I guess, or whatever the fuck it was called back then. They were the guys that went home. But the AQ elements were the ones that decided to do their dirty ass shit. Again, they had a fondness for young children, a particular fondness for young children.
Yep.
And then the Taliban rose up to quash them, and then the Taliban took control of the country because the Mujahideen had gone home. Because the Pashtun, they want to live in their fucking mountains. They don't give a fuck about the lowlands. Yep. They really don't. And again, that's where the Taliban were mostly located. Now, the Taliban encroaching on Mujahideen territory, or Pashtun territory, is what caused the Northern Alliance to be skirmishing with them. Basically, we took advantage of a situation that should have been mediated, because the Taliban and the Northern Alliance could have come together and worked out their fucking issues had the situation been properly mediated. But again, the EU influence in the situation was a little too much, let's say that. And then again, the EU has a particular, and fun fact, the EU has a particular problem with fucking China that I was not aware of initially. Basically, the EU is pissed because China dare touch Hong Kong.
Right.
But wasn't Hong Kong going to be going back to China anyways?
Well, that's the thing, is China taking back control of Hong Kong wasn't the problem. China extraditing a bunch of potential British intelligence agency agents working in the banks and shit in Hong Kong was the problem. Yeah, the whole, free Hong Kong protest shit was the same as the LA riots or Black Lives Matter or any of that bullshit. It's the same shit, just different place.
Well, I also got to ask you something since we were talking about Afghanistan. We're going to have to bring up the big elephant in the room. The September 11th terrorist attacks.
That was AQ.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the Taliban offered us bin Laden's head on a silver platter.
And we should have took them up on that offer. It would have saved us a lot of time, effort, and lives.
The EU would have never allowed that. The EU influence in the United States was too great at the time. They would have never allowed it. We were going to war no matter what.
Well,
because the EU decreed we went to war.
I would even argue that at the time, the American people wouldn't have allowed it. Like, after 9/11, I don't think they would.
We were-
Anyone
yes.
would have stood for just
Oh no.
some
That's
country
but that's
handing
the
over
thing.
some terrorists. Right? They
But
wanted.
that's the thing. That's the thing, though, is if the American people had been told about the offer that the Taliban made to us, people would have been like, yes, let's go with that route.
Right.
Bring his ass here. And
I was
mind
just
you,
a kid. I was just a kid when that happened, but I remember it, and I can honestly tell you, had that offer been given to us, a lot of Americans would have went for it.
because here's the thing, is Bin Laden was in Kabul at the time. He was in, because here's the thing, a lot of people don't know Pashtun law. They don't understand Pashtun law whatsoever. And Pashtun law, even though the lowlands tend not to be Pashtun in Afghanistan, it still applies. You treat people with hospitality. Visitors are treated with hospitality. This is why we were able to go into villages and actually talk to people when we weren't bombing them, because hospitality must be served. And
You
thus,
talked to me about that like a year ago.
yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is that Bin Laden was in a fucking compound outside of Kabul at the time, and they knew he was there because they had put him in the compound. He was a guest. And so when the Americans approached the fucking the Taliban about Osama bin Laden, they're like, "Oh yeah, we know where he is. We can get him for you. You want him? Wait, do you want it? Do you want him alive, or bisected? Blood angel? What do you want?" And we said, "Nah, we're good." And then we invaded.
That's ridiculous.
Again, I told you, I'm bulge eyes. Like, that's how fucking stupid this whole saga is across the board. For the past 30 to 40 years, we have been directed by foreign fucking nations to be the world's fucking boogeyman, and now we have to try to clean up that fucking mess. And bankrupting the Europeans is the first step in that correction.
Yep.
It's really unfortunate that based Catholics have been baiting or taking that bait hook, line, and sinker here lately.
Well, because the dumb schmucks, half of the dumb schmucks think that Europe is something to idolize, and it's like, no, it's not. It's a fucking dirty piece of shit that needs to be stomped on. It's no better than the fucking dog shit under my boot.
Yeah, there have been a lot of people that I've listened to over the past few months that I've kind of just had to put to the wayside because they're just very, very pro-Europe.
Yeah,
where it's
I know.
like they make sense. They make sense up until it gets to Europe, and then and it's not even that I'm trying to I'm not trying to fill my head with an echo chamber or anything like that. You just
Well, no, that
can't
again,
listen to
I'll go back to the fucking Israelis. It's the problem with the fucking Israelis because they're all in a fucking echo chamber.
well,
they
it's
keep-
the cognitive. Yeah, it's this
They
dissonance.
keep
that
fucking bouncing the same talking points off of one another, and it's why it's impossible to have an actual conversation about anything with them. Because if you end up fucking comparing them to something, they get fucking pissed. And it's like, okay, go fuck yourself then. I don't care if you die.
It reminds me of,
I'll evacuate the Israelis I like. The rest of y'all can fucking sink.
It reminds me of sitting in a classroom with a bunch of 80-year-old Baptists.
No, God.
Well, and here's the thing. And shit, I guess we're gonna fucking get into this, I guess. Dale, by the way,
Yes.
I started looking into Schofield and all that shit. Guess what?
What?
I was fucking right. The
What about
dispensationalist,
Schofield?
the dispensationalist movement was planted here on purpose.
I was going to mention to you, Dale, I have a New King James Version Schofield Study Bible, if you'd find that fascinating.
I do find it fascinating. That is interesting.
You should
You are-
burn it.
Agree. Well, I'm not gonna say burn a Bible, but you should definitely get a non-Schofield Bible.
But well, yeah. I mean, I got that back when I was a teenager. Because a lot of Baptists, well, they're
Right.
by nature they're dispensationalists,
Of
right?
Yeah.
So that's just way Southern Baptists are by and large. So the Schofield Bible's kind of a staple.
Yes.
And I lost interest in Schofield early on before I even realized anything about dispensation. It was just because he's the context in which he reads scripture is so convoluted anyway.
Indeed.
But
Well, let me ask you all this about Schofield. Wasn't he British?
I believe so. I don't know a whole lot about Schofield himself.
he was also
I
a
just
drunkard.
remember going because I have all of his study notes in this Bible integrated with the Bible, and his all of his readings going back through it are just very, very, very one-dimensional, and they don't leave a whole hell of a lot of context outside of trying to line everything up with
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
what.
Cyrus Schofield was born in Clinton Township, Lenawee County, Michigan, and the seventh and last child of Elias and Abigail Goodrich Schofield. Elias Schofield's ancestors were of English and Puritan descent.
Damn it, he's English and a Wolverine.
I was going to say, damn it, he's English and a Puritan.
And he's from Michigan. Fuck this guy.
Yeah. But
Hey,
no.
hey, if it wasn't for the Wolverines, we would all still be speaking Russian.
But no, the point is that you look at who he was friends with, and there's several key players during that time period that seem to have communicated with him on a regular basis. And on top of that, the people who created what becomes the Zionist movement within Britain associated with him.
Yep. Didn't
You
they
start to
fund
realize-
the publishing of his of the Schofield Reference Bible?
What'd you
Did
say? I'm
you,
sorry.
I said, didn't they fund those people who would later become the Zionists? Didn't they initially fund Schofield's? Yeah.
Yes, they were some of his biggest backers.
Yep.
But the point is that the dispensationalist movement in the United States is a fucking European parasite.
Well, the old church, by and large, is not because I've listened to. I don't know. Dale probably is up to date on it. I think Father Spiriton actually spoke up
Based.
on the Christians' duty to or to not back Israel or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Well, no, it's not even that. It's not even that. It's the fact that if you understand the origins, if you understand
that's what I'm
origins
saying.
of
So,
Zionism.
yes,
you-
so the Protestant movement in the United States is
No,
very
no.
unique in that.
No. Here's my point: is that you have Zionism, which
Yeah.
the ancient form of Zionism, and then you have the modern version of Zionism.
Uh-huh.
The ancient version of Zionism grew up within the Judaic movement, which is okay, cool. You have this idea of your Holy Land. That's fine. We have an idea of our Holy Land. That's fine. Whatever. Don't care. The modern Zionism is birthed out of the 18 fucking 50s and 60s in the UK.
Well, yeah,
Which-
that's what I'm saying. So, the context in which people are supposed to be reading that, and I've heard old Catholics and Orthodox. Everybody in Orthodoxy is just based as fuck. I mean, I have to give so many props to them. But most Catholics and Orthodox recognize the actual context in which Israel's supposed to be holding. And Israel's role as God's chosen people in the physical sense essentially ended after Christ's ascension.
Yes.
Like, they're
But-
not playing that anymore.
honestly speaking, I'm too secular for this shit. So honestly, I don't give a fuck about the whole biblical story. I really don't. My point is
Heretic.
the fact that you have a fucking political movement
Well, yeah, I see its effects.
that
in
has
politics.
created a problem for the United States with the purpose of keeping us engaged in a bunch of dumb bullshit. Oh, by the way, one of the key parts of Trump's strategy is, I'm still going to fucking say it, we are going to denuclearize Israel. It's going to happen.
You think it will?
Dimona is going to be dismantled. Period in the story.
Well, he was recently pretty upset with Israel, wasn't he?
Yep.
Well, upset versus... Here's the point, is that Trump isn't going to do it directly. His predecessors are going to do it. Or his
Descendants.
descendants, yes. His descendants in the presidency are going to do it. And that's the point, is that he's laying the groundwork for it, and then somebody next in line is going to do it. Because it's going to be a case of, hey, Israel, we've handled the situation here, you don't need those anymore.
Yeah.
Because if everybody had their fucking way, and this is the point, if everybody had their fucking way, the entire world would denuclearize.
Yeah.
The Americans
Let me
want
put
it.
you this. Let me just put you this way: hell will freeze over before the Israelis give up their nuclear weapons.
Well, they might just get fucking glassed for it then. Boo-hoo.
Dude,
point
I would
is-
love to see how upset dispensationalist Christians would get in the United States.
Yes.
Well, it depends
guess
on
what?
how many are going to be left by then, because from what I understand, the Dispies are losing numbers.
Yep.
Well, yeah,
Well,
they
not
are
to-
rapidly.
It's basically
not just
only
that, but
old
also-
boomers.
Also, you have to understand that the majority of these people also are falling out of favor within government because people are starting to realize the connections. They're starting now. People aren't putting two and two together and realizing that it's Europeans that are funding this bullshit, but they are putting the connections together that, oh, hey, these people equal bad things.
Yes.
Well, it's really sad that you have these layman Israelis that are getting caught in the fray of all of this. I mean, you have your talking heads and everything, but your everyday Joe over there is just kind of in the crosshairs of the world at the moment, and I just feel really bad for him.
Yeah, that is true.
Because then you have their talking heads that are permeating media right now and speaking for them. And I think their media situation on the legacy and social side is worse than the United States is.
Yeah, probably.
Well, at the end of it, honestly speaking, there is so much fucking bullshit that's going on that it's going to take years to fucking unravel it.
Well,
But
and
The
unfortunately,
point is that we are on track to unravel it.
and I hate to say,
The Gordian knot will be cut.
well, with Israel, the way it's kind of the way you kind of have to handle it with a hostage. The way Russians handle hostage situations, a few may have to die to save the many.
Oh, absolutely. Honestly speaking, like there's a very high likelihood of that.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
don't know
gonna
if you've
I'm gonna
seen
say this right.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this right now. You look at their situation in Syria. The Israelis have committed combat forces to Syria to assist the Druze, which it's like, okay, good luck, have fun. Can't wait until I fucking hear about you bitching how you're stuck in a protracted fucking ground war.
Right, Israel doesn't have the logistics for that.
They don't have the logistics. They don't have the fucking sustainability. They don't have the manpower to fucking stretch that thin without completely annihilating their economy. Which, fine, whatever. I don't care. If you want to be stupid, go ahead and be stupid.
No, you remember that one video that came out? It's like 2012, I think. I think this Russian criminal had kept a hostage in this building, and they rolled a BMP up there and just blasted through the wall to him.
Well, yeah.
That's how they handle that type of thing over there. I picture that with us and the Israelis with their missiles.
Well, no, that's the thing is, like, at this point in time, like, once we do the pivot back to South America, which that pivot is underway, everybody keeps making the mistake that we're pivoting to China. We're not pivoting to China. China will be handled through the financial side of things, because China is going to be sitting there fucking hamstrung to hell and back. They're already fucking feeling the pressure.
Not to mention their population collapse and their food and everything.
Well,
They've
no.
everything going wrong.
Okay. So that shit doesn't matter. The financial crunch will get them before the fucking population shit happens, or the food situation, or whatever. People, you look at their biggest suppliers of foodstuffs, for example. It's all countries that rely on China for the majority of their trade income. So no matter what. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. So no matter what, they are going to be making. They're going to be trading. The foodstuffs situation is going to be handled. That's not a concern. The population thing, their population demographic, they still have about 20 to 30 years before it actually starts crunching them. The financial shit is going to happen within the next 2 to 3.
Oh,
By the time Trump is out of office, China is going to be begging us to fucking let up.
Yeah.
So the pivot is not to China. I don't care who you fucking hear talking about it. The pivot is not going to be to China. The pivot is going to be to South America, because everybody keeps talking about where do we get the stuff to actually support our fucking economy in the way that we need to support. All of it is available in South fucking America.
Yeah.
We don't need the rest of the world. We just need the southern continent.
Also, for the record, I just posted a link to an article in the chat. If you're curious, Gavin, and want to see, about the whole economic demise of China, I'd recommend reading the article. It's pretty good.
Well, okay, so here's the problem with this article, and and real quick, I just need to refresh my memory because it's been about a week since I read it.
Oh, fair enough.
So here's the here's the big thing that is going to happen with China, is that the majority of the problems with China when it comes to the economics is the fact that they need to create the conditions by which they can sustain their economy through liquid assets. They cannot rely on hard assets at the moment because they don't have the fucking scale of hard assets to actually utilize. The reason why they are sitting there freaking the fuck out is because at the end of the day, they can only hold so many fucking U.S. treasuries.
And I risk asking a stupid question, but that's how we learn, right?
Go ahead.
You think cutting China's parasitic tendrils out of the United States in the form of land and farmland is a pretty big blow?
Well, that's the thing, is that if we start, and mind you, we're getting ready to gear up to do that, that's going to remove more assets out of their fucking books. Their
land here.
Their liability to asset ratio is going to collapse hardcore. And so they are unfortunately in the position where they are going to have to look elsewhere to get those assets. The problem is that the only way they're going to fucking do it is if they declare war on shit. And no, it's not going to be Taiwan. Taiwan is going to reintegrate into China. I would guesstimate around 5 to 10 years. It's going to happen. The political swings in Taiwan are occurring to allow reintegration.
Well, a big part of their geopolitical leverage here the past several decades has been these giant energy projects in like South America and Africa and stuff like that. What's going on with all that?
Well, honestly speaking, those projects are going to fall flat on their ass if the U.S. keeps doing what it's doing, anyways. Because
I've had
all of these nations.
Go ahead.
All of these nations, if we take on Tether, and we actually create the network that we could create with Tether and create the liquidity flow with Tether that we could create, it's going to really incentivize a lot of these countries that are currently working with China to immediately pivot to the United States.
And another thing, we could also finally enforce our Monroe Doctrine and keep these foreigners out of our fucking hemisphere. Pardon my French.
Well, not just that, but you look at the situation in El Salvador, you look at the situation in Argentina, you look at the situation in Brazil. You look at all these different situations that are going on, and you realize really quickly that the pivot to the United States is ongoing. El Salvador has fully pivoted to the United States.
Yeah.
Argentina is, everybody was freaking out because Argentina sent a bunch of gold to the fucking, British. But at the end of the day, okay, well, the LBMA is there. That's how they're going to do business where the business is. But if all of a sudden the U.S. is like, hey, by the way, we're opening a gold contract here in the U.S. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. All of a sudden, the Argentinians are gonna be like, hey, Britain, we're gonna need our gold back. And then at that point in time, also, oh wait, what is that? Oh, Tether's a big thing in Argentina. Oh wait, all of a sudden Tether is bolstered. XRP fucking grows in, like, when the U.S. adopts XRP, or Tether, I should say, my bad, because XRP is just the token on the Tether network. But
one of the biggest
when they adopt,
go ahead.
When they adopt Tether, XRP is going to explode in price.
One of the biggest contenders in South America would be getting Santiago over Chile.
Well, that's the thing, is that Chile, oh, by the way, where does a shit ton of copper and lithium and other shit exist? Oh, that's right, Chile.
Chile and Peru.
All of a sudden, oh wait, hey, those copper mines that have been left destitute for fucking decades, all of a sudden they can open back up. Oh, by the way, they have the American innovations and all this other shit. Like, the pivot to South America is ongoing.
Chile would be a very, very great partner in space study and exploration too. They've been devoting a lot of resources to that over the past couple decades, so I'd be interested in that kind of collaboration with NASA.
But the point is that this whole idea that we're going to pivot to China and fight a war with China, it's not fucking going to happen. All we're doing is keeping China contained long enough to kill them financially.
I don't think either country is practically ready for war anyway.
As it stands, honestly speaking, the United States would crush China so hard it's unfucking real. The only advantage China has is the fact that the Russians aren't pointing guns at them right now.
Well,
here's the problem. Here's the problem is that if we're able to get out of the situation with NATO, we're able to get out of fucking Europe, we're able to actually disconnect from that fucking bullshit in Northern Europe, and then all of a sudden we look at the Russians like, hey, I know we've been fighting recently, I know we've been talking shit about each other. Why don't we revive the old friendship?
Well, that recent deal with Iran was a vulgar display of power nationally, or internationally. So I mean,
well, but that's the thing, though, is that at the end of the day, the Iran affair, that was as much of a message to everybody else as it was to Israel. That put Israel on fucking notice. Like, hey, by the way, we can come in and do this shit any fucking time. But the point is that at the end of the day, if we could potentially revive the friendship that we had with the Russians and actually build out the friendship and build out the infrastructure that could come along with that, the Chinese are going to lose their fucking minds. And oh, by the way, what happens when both American and Russian guns are pointed at the Chinese? The Chinese can't do shit.
Yeah.
They would
What's
literally
Russia's
be
relationship
they
with
would
China
literally
then?
be sitting there wondering, do we try this or do we sit the fuck down and become rich?
I'll tell you who's been interested. Who I've been following. I've not taken him seriously. I've just been trying to see what direction he's trying to pivot geopolitics in. That's Peter Zion.
Who's that?
I fucking hate that man. He is one of the worst fucking analysts ever. Do not listen to him. I have all of his books. I have read all of his books. He is one of the worst analysts on the fucking planet. Do not fucking take anything he says with you. You can't take a big enough fucking lump of salt with it.
I was gonna say Peter Zion is so contradictory to anything Intel related. Where is he getting this shit?
He's a globalist. He's a self-avowed globalist. He only wants the global order to remain. As long
I
as
thought he
global
was talking
trade is
about-
there,
I thought
everything.
he'd been talking about the global system collapsing.
Well, yeah, he's talking about it because he's freaking out about it. There's a reason why he looks the reason he looks so fucking disheveled anymore is because he's fucking freaking out all the time.
You know what I think is funny is how you were talking about that Peter dude. You know who else loves to talk about him and take shit from him?
Who?
What if autists?
Oh God. Fuck.
Shut your demand.
You mean little old Rudy who hasn't been right about shit for fucking years now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
shut
what
your
if all this has been a pipe dream for the past 2 or 3 years at least?
Dude, no, he's been spiraling. He went on a fucking Ask a Wanda kick for fucking how long because he was spiraling as hard as he was.
Yeah, Mr. Asia. Yeah. About a month or so ago, Mr. Asia Pie made a video talking about his little ayahuasca trip and his subsequent crash outs.
Yeah, you know, he fucking so he I forget what caused it, but there was I remember about 2 or 3 years ago because there was this social media company that was trying to start up called Pearl. And
Well, that name sounds familiar.
and Rudy was directly involved in it. And so I had signed up and like it was literally like, hey, you pay $10 and you get a lifetime membership basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was communicating with him quite a bit on there. And I was asking questions in regards to this, that, and the other, and so on and so forth. And I remember the last time I talked to him, I was talking to him about the Ukraine situation, or not even the Ukraine situation itself. I was talking about him about the Russians. And one of the things that he loves to harp on it, how Russia is doomed to go through population collapse and this and that and the other. And I'm like, but the indications are the exact opposite.
You want, I think the one I've been leaning toward here the past few months has been, what's his name? Monsieur Z?
Oh, Monacer.
Yeah, I know
Monacer
who
Z.
you-
Monaster. Yeah, he's generally been.
Well, Mr. Z, the problem with Mr. Z, and this is the issue I have with him. He's not like he's not a good analyst of speculation. He's good at laying out information that's already pre-established and like kind of actually like laying it out in a concise form that you can understand easily. So
he
for
kind
that,
of he kind of just word vomits ideas and hypotheticals, and he's kind
Well,
of 50% with his intel.
well, no, it's like 30%, but you know that's regardless. No, he's like if there's a topic that you need to understand and that topic is already well established and like there's ongoing things regarding that topic, he's a good source. But anything speculation wise, anything speculative whatsoever, Mr. Z is just as bad as Ruddy.
Well, he's been overly confident in a Russian United States alliance too early, I think.
No, I don't think you can say the same thing about me then. I don't. I agree with him on that. That is one thing I do agree with him on, is that there will be a rebirth of that friendship. Because remember, now is the alliance going to happen in 10 years? No, but that friendship will be rebirthed over the course of the next decade, and then eventually, in 20, 30 years, you'll see the Russians and the Americans come together in hand to look at Europe and be like, you're fucking shitbags, by the way.
Right.
See, the problem we have right now is that right now we're going through the generational turn where the boomers are dying off. Gen X doesn't trust Europe to save their life. Millennials idolize Europe, and then the Zoomers are looking at Europe like, why would I want to live there? Why would I want to have to deal with that?
How do you explain Dublin, Ohio, and people like my stupid sister-in-law then? Because they're on the opposite end of that.
Well, okay,
They're the free Palestine but can't name the prime minister of Israel type people. Like,
but again, there's always going to be exceptions to the rule, bud. I'm saying the bulk of the generations. The Gen Xers don't trust Europe because Europe has done so much shady shit in history that they're starting to realize the problems. The millennials idolize Europe because the millennials have been so fucking downtrodden for years that they don't understand, like, hey, by the way, there is a methodology to getting, like, and I kind of wanted to get into this discussion a little bit personally. The problem that the millennials have with the reason why they're so destitute is because they took on so much debt.
Yes.
I have, on a personal basis, I'm paying out like $900 a month in just debt. If I wasn't paying out that money in debt every month, I would not be in the situation that I am. I would have a stock portfolio of a very, very good margin that would actually be fucking multi-millions by the time I retire, and that's just my stock portfolio. That's not including all the other investments I want to make. But because I allowed myself to get into such debt, as most millennials did over the course of their young lives, they have gotten into this hole, and now they can't see a way out of the hole because of how dark it is. But that's the point, is get yourself out of fucking debt, you idiots. Stop taking debt on. And then the Zoomers are so debt averse that the Zoomers will never have that problem. And so the idea that, again, the outlook that the Zoomers have on life and the world in general is totally fucking different. Because they're looking...
Yeah, I was ready to say that explains the very apocalyptic view that all of these 40-something-year-olds have adopted, almost as if they want it to happen.
Well, no, that's the point. But that's why Zoomers look at Europe and they're like, why would I want to pay those tax rates? They're so... The Zoomers are so debt averse that they're anti-tax by default. So that's why these Zoomers are setting up these fucking massive trust funds here in the United States, because the U.S. is one of the best tax... Like, if you want to avoid taxes, the U.S. is one of the best for it.
True.
And so they set up these trust funds, and they start up these fucking tech companies, and they do this and they do that, and they like the Zoomers that are like within like the 21 to 25 range. They're some of the richest fucking people in the fucking country per capita, because they're just like, no, fuck debt. I don't want to take on debt. And it will be the Zoomers that lead us into that friendship with Russia, because they're not looking at Russia as a fucking problem. They're looking at Russia like, okay, why are so many Europeans bitching about Russia? They're actually analyzing the situation. That's the one thing the Zoomers are really good at, is analyzing what the fuck is going on. Yeah, people like to make jokes about the little fuckers, But at the same time, they're some of the most analytically savvy motherfuckers on the planet, and people are sleeping.
Or they're brain dead on Instagram. There's no in between.
Well, yes, again, there's always exceptions to the rule.
I have a much bleaker perspective on my generation because we are surrounded by so much information and people are still so willing to believe that the earth is flat because of a video on TikTok.
Well, man,
Yeah. Good point.
So I don't know who you're talking to make you believe that this, well, unless the statistics say that, then I mean, I can't deny it if the numbers say so, but everyone I talk to,
no, dude,
20 to 40.
Again, you, and I'm gonna say it like this: you look at men and women of the Zoomer generation. They're doing one of two things: either they're starting a fucking business that is easy to start up with no cost, and they can make a couple fucking million off of it, or they're doing OnlyFans. And,
Which, you know what? Hustle.
and guess what? At the end of the fucking day, both segments of that population don't give a fuck because they're making bank. They have better things to worry about than caring what other people have to think and say. There's a reason why Sophie Rain, for example, is able to fucking do what she does. She doesn't. I don't even know what fucking form of content she does. All I see is the fucking thirst traps on fucking when I'm scrolling through fucking Twitter and Instagram, for example. That's the only shit I ever see of her. So I don't know what she fucking does on fucking actually on OnlyFans. But at the end of the fucking day, it's like she's making fucking bank. She doesn't have she never has to take debt out in her life. She doesn't give a fuck. As long as she can avoid paying as many taxes as fucking possible, it doesn't fucking matter. These fucking 30-something-year-olds are fucking bitching about me because I'm not some good trad wife. She doesn't give a fuck.
Well, Mike, if you see me on Foot Finder, just don't message me.
Hey, let me ask you something. How much money are you making on there? Because I have a perspective model that I know has monetizable toes.
Oh, I
Jesus
don't have a
fucking
Foot
Christ.
Finder. I'm just saying, I could probably make bank on there because I got long toes.
Long toe.
Nobody's got to see anything undignified. They can be undignified, and I just get $500 a pop.
But no, the point is at the end of the day, the fucking Zoomers are gonna lead us into a situation where we actually can rebuild these fucking relationships that we had ages ago, and we're actually going to see the world as a better fucking place because of it.
Well, I hope you're right.
And what's funny is because the Zoomers and the fucking Gen Xers that gave birth to the motherfuckers are sitting there and they're both looking at Europe like you're fucking stupid. And then there's the segment of the millennials, like me, who are looking at Europe and being like, I want to genocide them. That force that has congealed around an anti-European sentiment is going to carry the world forward. Anyways, Dale, what time are we at?
2 hours and 8 minutes.
All right.
Honestly, that seems
you guys
like a
have
good
anything?
place to end.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about?
Yes, I do.
All right.
What's up?
Well, let's just talk about how, what's that son of a bitch on CBS that's getting his show shit canned?
Stephen
Anyways,
Stephen Colbert.
Yeah. I think it's funny how Stephen Colbert, his career's going down the shitter, and meanwhile we got a friggin' VTuber who's having her billboard plastered up.
Well,
We just live in very strange times.
So you know what's funny about Stephen Colbert getting canceled?
What?
What is that?
Do you know why he's being canceled? Like the actual reason.
Wasn't it because his show costs $100 million a year and loses $40 million a year?
That's the point. the return on investment of his show is so fucking abysmal because the only people that fucking consume him in any way, shape, or form are the people that we fucking all hate. It's such a minority. That should tell you that we're winning. The fact that these people are such a minority of the global fucking population that there are not enough motherfuckers to make $100 million a year to cover the cost of this motherfucker's show.
Wow.
Yeah, seems the pharma industry was only willing to give him 60 million.
But that's my point,
And
is at the end of the day, we are winning so fucking hard that people like Stephen Colbert have to go find a new fucking job.
and we have a random Fox girl on Twitch who's getting more famous than him.
Well, to be fair, she does have nice milkers.
Yeah,
The tatas are in fact bodacious.
wasn't her shit like doxed or something?
Possible.
Yes, she.
What's this
she-
girl's name? I'm asking for a friend.
Kirsche Verstog.
Yeah, she. So a group was attempting to. I do believe they were in fact intending to have something terrible happen to her. And so they were like hardcore doxing her, hardcore fucking coming after her. Like they were trying
It
to.
started with Anna Valens of Vice, I believe.
Yes.
Get away from my food, you stupid cat!
But the point
Open up
is
some
at the
sushi
end
and
of
he
the
comes
day,
running.
at the end of the day, what you end up having is that we are fucking winning, and I don't know about you guys, but these dubs taste so fucking good.
Yep.
And if we have to take a small L every so often, even though it turns into a massive dub afterwards, fuck it, I don't care.
Agreed.
Like at this point in time, like I don't give a shit who you are. If you're a fucking Republican, Democrat, or Libertarian, you're gonna fucking benefit from this shit harder than you ever benefited from anything else. Or still a Republican, Democrat, or Libertarian after you benefit from this shit. You're not just retarded. You're also an evil son of a bitch, and I got a trench for you. Anyways, guys, we'll go ahead and tie it up there. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next week because, well, if the news cycle continues the way it's been the past couple weeks, then yeah, we're gonna have plenty to fucking talk about.
Yep.
Anyways, guys, you enjoy.
Good night.
Peace.